All right, so you should have your highlighter and your checking pen ready to check this worksheet, and you also obviously need this worksheet, 5.4C full less ness practice. All right, go ahead and you can highlight your titles. You should have done that when you completed it, so that's what tells you what this is about. And this first part focuses on suffixes, which we know are at the ends of words. They are added to the end of a base word. Number 1, in which words is ness used the same as it is in happiness? So we are looking at the suffix, ness. And where is it used the same as it is in happiness? I am also kind of testing you on these to see if you are paying attention to directions. It says in order to choose it, you need to underline all of the answers. So we need to decide, what does ness mean in happiness? Well, we know from our word study that happiness is a state of being happy. So we're going to underline all the ones where it means a state of being, whatever it is. Looking at this first one, nesting, okay, well, I notice it's not even a suffix there, so I would take my pen or whatever and X that out. The next one we have is breathlessness. So we need to ask ourselves, does breathlessness mean a state of being breathless? Well, yes, it does. So we are going to underline that choice. Emptiness. Ask yourself again, does it mean a state of being empty? Yes, if you feel emptiness, you're feeling that state of being empty. Politeness. Is that a state of being polite? Absolutely. Nesses. Does that mean a state of being is? Well, first of all, again, I notice this is not even a suffix. It's at the beginning, so that's not going to work. I would X that out. And it does not mean a state of being S. Nestle. Does this mean a state of being tli? No, it does not. So we have found all of our answers. Should have underlined those 3. Number 2, in which words is less used the same as it is in useless? So again, we are looking at a suffix because it is after the base word. And you should be asking yourself, what does it mean? Useless. Well, we know that from our word study that it means without. So without use. If something is useless, it's without use. Faithless. Does that mean without faith? Yes, it does. Uh-oh, look, Miss Gregory changed the directions on us. We are not supposed to underline anymore. Now we are going to highlight all the correct answers. So you should have highlighted, and make sure you pay attention to the directions. I can automatically get rid of anything where it's not a suffix. So looking here, lesser, doesn't mean without and it's in the wrong place. Breathless. Does that mean without breath? Well, yes, if you're breathless, you can't catch your breath, kind of without your breath. So I'm going to highlight that one. Lesson. Does it mean without No, and it's in the wrong place. Bless. Does that mean without b? No. Speechless. Does it mean without speech? Yes, if you are speechless, you can't talk. You should have highlighted those 3 answers. Number 3, in which words is full used the same as it is in joyful? Again, you want to notice it is a suffix, so your answers should be suffixes. You do have to be careful because sometimes they might be in the middle of a word. So we have useful. Oh, first of all, we need to ask ourselves, what does it mean? Full of joy. Full of use. Yes, if something is useful, got many, many uses. Now, these directions just say select. It doesn't say how. So you can do it any way you want. If you want to do text color, if you want to highlight, I don't care. Circle. Of course, on your paper, you wouldn't be able to do the text color, but you could highlight or circle. Beautiful. Does it mean full of beauty? Yes, it does. So your test on this will be on Google Docs. So if you want to change the color, you can. Fanciful, does it mean full of fancy? Yes, it does. Fulton, does that mean full of ton? Well, first of all, it's at the beginning of the word, so it's in the wrong place. I would X that out. I know it does not mean that. Fulcrum, does that mean full of crumb? No, it does not. It is in the wrong place. A fulcrum is a part of a machine. Fuller, does that mean full of er? No, it does not. So those top three were the correct answers. Ask yourself the meaning and then plug it in, see if it works. Number 4, read the sentence. The student's insight showed an ability to look deeply into concepts to understand them. In which words is in used the same as it is in insight? There shouldn't be a number 5 right here, sorry. All right, so we got to figure out what it means, and we have the word parts and the context clues. We have studied the prefix in. We know that it has a couple of different meanings. It can mean not, or it can mean in, like into. So let's look at our sentence. Remember, context clues are always the best help. The student's insight showed an ability to look deeply into concepts and understand them. So if you are insightful, that means that you really can see into things and understand them. So obviously, if you're looking deeply into something, this is a situation where in does not mean not, it means into. You're seeing into things deeply. In which words is in used the same as it is in insight? Well, independent, does that mean looking into dependent? No, it does not. If you are independent, it means you're not depending on other people. So they use the other meaning. You would mark that one out. Inhale, does it mean into? If you inhale, what are you doing? You're breathing in. So I would underline that one. Been, well, I notice here it is a prefix. Here it is at the end of a word. It's not even a suffix, and it doesn't mean into be. So I would mark that out. Inside, well, is it in the right place? Yes. Does it mean into? Well, if you're inside a house, you're going into a house. So yes, I would underline that to choose it. Infinite, well, finite, you all might know this, might not know this, but finite, it's related to the word finish. If something is finite, it has an end, okay? It finishes. So if something is infinite, like time, if it's infinite, it means it does not end. So that is not being used the same. It doesn't mean into end. It means not there. Interfere. Here, you know what it means to interfere. That's actually the root enter, which is going back and forth or between. It is not being used the same as insight because it doesn't mean in, inside, interfere. So the correct answers were inhale and inside. That was a very tricky one. Synonyms and antonyms. Which words are synonyms of flawless? Synonyms mean the same. So you need to ask yourself, if they're doing synonyms and antonyms, what does flawless mean? Well, flawless means perfect. I'm going to underline that. Let's look at our others. Corrupt. If something is corrupt, it is messed up. So it is definitely not flawless. Not a synonym for flawless. So picture something that's flawless. It's perfect. It is also unblemished. There are no flaws if it's unblemished. Pretty. That's a close one, but it's not quite a synonym. You can be pretty without being flawless. Nice. Well, I mean, you can be nice without being flawless. Wrong is definitely not a synonym for flawless. So the two choices would be perfect and unblemished, meaning there are no flaws on it at all. Which two words are antonyms of respectful? Antonyms mean the opposite. So picture what it means. What does it? See someone in your head. If they are being respectful, see it in your head. Now, see the opposite. Okay? And always remember too, respectful means with manners, okay? Use good manners. So antonyms of respectful. Respectful is a good thing. If I could draw a smiley face, I'd put a little smiley face right there. Nice, is that the opposite of respectful? Obviously not. Disrespectful. Well, we know dis means not, right? So if we're looking for an antonym, antonyms mean they're not respectful. This would be a very good choice for an antonym for respectful. Impolite. This actually means not as well. If you are polite, you are respectful. So if you are impolite, you are not respectful. That is an antonym. Admiring. Well, if you are admiring someone, that's kind of nice. That's not going to be the opposite. Loud. Now, this one's a close one. Okay? Because when you think of being disrespectful, often you are loud when you're disrespectful. But you can also be loud and be respectful. I mean, you could be yelling to someone, hey, can I please have this? If they're all the way across the room, right? So I don't think I would count that as quite an antonym. Quiet. I've seen people that were quiet, but not necessarily respectful. You can whisper disrespectful things, so that is not a good antonym. So the correct answers are disrespectful and impolite, because antonyms are the opposite of the word. All right, please answer in complete sentences. What is the meaning of the suffix ness? You should have answered in a complete sentence. The meaning of ness is a state of being a certain way. You could have worded this several different ways. You could have just said ness means. All right, or the suffix ness means. Oh, sorry. What is the meaning of the suffix less? The suffix less means without. All right, and then what is the meaning of the suffix ful? The suffix ful means full of. That's it. So you now have a quiz to take on this, and that's it. Good job.